microphone.
I bet it is. I'm no detective, but I know what I saw, and I saw what the clap
Didn't
was.
hear.
So I didn't see what I heard.
Yeah.
Huh. If you're laughing, it's silent. Did you? Now maybe we can't hear you.
No,
Oh,
no,
God,
you
okay.
can hear me.
Wanted to
I
make
could
sure.
just like start mouthing words and you guys would think everything's screwed up still.
Yeah, because it would just be flip-flopping.
Yeah. No, I didn't talk to Suds about anything, by the way. So I think we're going Sudsless today. Well, maybe we'll try for next time.
Yeah, next time definitely we'll have to plan
God,
something.
I feel like he fell off the planet.
No,
Suds is married.
Yeah.
Well, so are we, but here we are.
I went to his wedding.
What was that like? A lot of white.
Well,
cake?
it was exactly what you expected. He got married in Vegas
Mm-hmm.
by two Elvises.
Two Elvises? How sacrilegious.
Well, not really. There was a young Elvis and there was like a old Elvis, you know, the
so
two
like
different stages of Elvis.
The New and Old Testament of Elvis.
I guess if there were three stages of Elvis, the third one would just be decomposing.
Yeah, but no one counts, like, there's no New Testament, Old Testament, and then Dead Testament.
Should be.
But if we're going to make there a third one, I want him to be on the toilet, not like rotting away.
That's right.
I want to be Toilet Elvis, number 3.
Choking on a sandwich on the toilet or something. Right?
Yeah.
Didn't he die on the toilet? Is that what happened?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
That was my hilarious reference, Schwood. He died.
I'm not a big Elvis fan, so I'm not really up on my Elvis history. That's just one of those, you know.
I'm not either. I just
that I
know
heard at
for
some
sure that he died on the toilet.
It's like an iconic thing.
Yeah, it's on a postcard in Graceland.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, I hope not. I wonder if you go to Graceland if you actually visit the toilet. Like, this is the one.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, definitely.
They probably pulled it out, dipped it in gold, and put it back.
Yeah.
They can still see this last turd encased in lucite.
Ugh.
They should have dipped him in gold and then put him back on the toilet.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think
they want to really draw in some tourists.
I don't think a human body could withstand the heat of being dipped in gold.
Yeah, I guess
wrong.
not.
I think the toilet would survive, but not the Elvis.
I wonder if there is a way to do that. I mean, you know, like in Game of Thrones, when that guy got molten gold poured over the top of his head, he didn't like straight up decompose.
No, but if you're going to, but when you pull him out, he's going to be like a gold coated Elvis after being heated like that is not going to be the Elvis you want coated in gold. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it could just be the blob that was formerly known as Elvis.
Yeah, but how's he going to fit on the toilet?
Well, I can just shave.
I say you just plasticize
you
him like
know,
the Body Works people.
You're getting into all of these logistics.
Somebody's got to. Who, if not me, Schwood?
Yeah, good point, I guess.
How many people do we have waiting? Have we waited? It's not been 5 minutes, I'm sure.
I don't think it has. I have 2 people, 2 likes. Kayla's here.
Hey, Kayla.
She says, like Mojo Nixon said, Elvis is everywhere.
Did he say that?
Are we actually on?
We are on.
But this is the green room, so don't
this
freak
is the
out.
preamble.
Until you hear me introduce the show hasn't officially started. Everybody is just seeing the logo.
Oh, okay.
And hearing us talk.
This is all just green room stuff, you know.
All right. Well, I was using all my best materials, and I'm out now.
Oh, God damn it.
Well, show over.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for showing up to the pre-show. No show. That's canceled. Staff recommendations, Schwood?
I don't know. Elvis. Something Elvis. I don't know.
Something Elvis. Classic. Oh, man.
What is your YouTube channel? FFOP Radio?
Maybe. What is it?
Yes.
Aha.
Probably.
I found it. Live show. One watching, and that's me.
Whoa,
It
you
says
showed up.
2. My screen.
Thanks for
the back
well,
end.
I'm number 2 now.
You're probably number 3.
Classic number 2. But you can see our logo.
You're live streaming. The delay is you can't watch the stream too closely, or else it'll screw you up.
Correct.
Yeah, you will become
Don't listen to it.
thrown into vertigo.
That's right.
We have 3 people and 2 likes. Schwood, you better like this video.
Well,
Oh yeah, I should like it. All right, done.
Boom.
Yeah, swish.
3 people, 3 likes.
Well, it's
just showed up.
My clock says 5 minutes, so why don't we? Hopefully, Schwood, you can hear the intro song. So here it goes.
eventually.
Maybe.
It's spinning.
Something's happening. Hold on. Show's not starting yet.
We've got spinning action on the computer.
This is the most spinning action I've ever gotten out of that.
You're listening
there we go.
to FFOP Radio.
Reach the
Hey everybody and welcome to the show. My name is Summertime Dave. Summertime Dave, love it in the summer Dave. Here we are, it's Flamingo Friday. Let me introduce you. Obviously, you're probably listening to the 5 minutes we spent before the show. So let's go ahead and throw them on in here. We got number 1, Schwood back on the show. Number 2, Krista's over there on the couch.
I'm here.
Every day is Flamingo Day as far as I'm concerned, David.
But it's got to have the alliteration. Flamingo Friday is what we're looking for. Because people will get sick of it if you do it every day. It's got to be like a fine wine. You pull it out of the cellar no more than once a week.
But I'm just seeing you on camera for the first time, and I can't remember the last time that I was on or the last time that I saw you. But you got the long hair going on now.
Looks awful, doesn't it?
No, I think you kind of look like you look a little bit like a Portland hipster, if I may.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I've gone over this before, but it bears repeating because it's so interesting. When a pandemic hits and you don't leave the house for a year and you just shave your head and say, well, we'll see what happens. This is where we're at, timeline-wise.
This is a year.
Yeah, I've been doing. I made the decision to now move forward with growing my hair back out since I don't have to buzz it anymore. Like I'm fully vaxxed.
Right.
So it's like it's time to go into a barbershop or something and get the haircut starting to happen again.
Okay. So what have we gotten that far yet, or are we waiting for that? I'm just confused.
Yeah, no, we haven't. It's been about 2 weeks since I busted last.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, well, I'm sure we're in that stage leading up to it because I'm sure you didn't walk in and say, "Give me exactly what I have, just a little shorter."
So come
That's
the
right.
fall, you'll go to a barbershop.
Yeah.
I wonder if
August.
we'll ever get to a point where you could walk into a barbershop and they can somehow like 3D print your hair or grow it out right there and then cut it the way you want it.
Like Play-Doh.
Well,
Yeah, like Play-Doh.
You'd have to manipulate the human body or something. Or what if now? Oh, maybe. Okay, so I'm on your side if we have like replicator technology, because if they can just put longer hair on the hair you've already got, like with not a tractor beam. What am I thinking of?
Well, what if they could just
Teleporter.
accelerate the growth of your hair?
Well, where are you going to get the raw material is my question. Like, if they say they're going to shoot you with a ray, they go, grow your hair, you're going to have a deficit of keratin and a bunch of stuff right around your brain very quickly. So how are they going to replace all those resources?
Well, it's alien technology that sort of jumps over those details. But the thing that's
I don't
the
want a
one
magic
big
answer.
caveat, the one big caveat about the whole thing is that it grows out all of your hair.
Oh, so like the whole body, not just like from the neck up?
Not just neck up. No, it's everything.
That's an even worse problem. See, when I thought it was just the neck up, that was one thing. A whole body, like massive loss of that many resources, seems ridiculous.
If you have short hair and you want it to be longer and styled, why not just get extensions and they can style your hair with extensions and then
I think what I'm going to do is get
That's
those like island resort style cornrows put in.
I did that. It hurts.
It's not a great look though, David.
No, I did it when I was like, a tween when we went on our first cruise in like the Bahamas or wherever we were. It hurt, man.
I'm sure it does, but it just seems so like streamlined and like the concentric patterns and everything. I love a nice shape pattern, and I feel like if I
But I
carry
don't
that
think
around
you
my
can.
head-
I don't think you can really wash your hair if it's done up like that. If I'm not mistaken, right?
Probably not, but I'll just lean into the dreadlocks after they're done, right? I mean, look at me. What have I got to lose, Schwood? Like, do you think that like anything I do at this point is going to make this worse? It can only make it better.
You should get in a convertible and
Yeah.
drive to Las Vegas on a road trip like Hunter S. Thompson style,
Okay. And then do what? Get one of those yard margaritas?
and then leave Las Vegas like Nick Cage.
So drive there just to leave it?
Bye.
Leave it in Las Vegas, bitch. Just driving straight down the strip and then out of there. I'm going to Henderson.
It'd be a heck of a journey. And Las Vegas is not that it's not that far away from Phoenix, right? I mean, it's like what, 4 or 5 hours?
6 hours, I think.
Okay.
Maybe 5. But yeah,
I remember. So growing up, when I used to live in Los Angeles, and like in LA, you're just a 4-hour jump over to Vegas. So it's like it's much easier to get there. Whereas now I'm in Oregon, I'd have to like plan for at least a day of driving to get down there. And it's kind of just one of those things that you take for granted. Like, boy, you could just hop over to Vegas, for a weekend if you wanted to.
If Vegas is that crown or that jewel in your crown, then yeah, I don't know. I've been to Vegas many times. I've never found it very compelling.
Yeah,
I think
it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, if you can go there like for the shows, it's great if you want to be a tourist. But everybody hates tourists.
Yes, but mostly everyone in Vegas, at least in the casinos and on the strip, everyone there is a tourist.
Right.
And you're not going to get a lot of tourist hate when you're surrounded by tourists.
But it feels like the perfect storm of all these weird cultures, number one. Number two, people just permanently checked out because they're buzzed until their plane ride home. And so it's just like this rain cloud of confusion and all these like really sad people. But here's one thing I love about Vegas that I will go back to because it's something that you can only find there and in small Indian casinos around the valley, is that smell inside the casino of like cigarettes and booze and sadness and like baked goods. And like sometimes you get like a whiff of Chinese food, or you see the guy who's got the cigar who's like the size of a baby's arm.
Yeah,
right.
I love the smell of a casino.
Something intoxicating about them all.
I just like the smell of cigarettes, but I think it makes it that much, I don't know, better. Like the carpet. I don't know. It's got to be in the carpet. Like that makes that smell of
it's in the carpet.
Old.
The design of them is like so you lose control of your senses. So maybe that's it. Maybe because you are essentially in a sensory deprivation chamber of like cacophony of chaos, it's like your body just picks up on the smell. Because if I smelled that anywhere else, I don't know if I'd be in love with it. Maybe.
I don't gamble, so like I don't go there to gamble like ever. Like I'm bad at gambling. Plus, I just don't like losing money.
Right.
So like, but it's still fun. I mean, it's kind of cool to see all the people and see all the sights and eat the good food and.
It is interesting. It's the only place you can go like within a stone's throw, and be in any number like scale down but still magnificent representations of Rome, Italy, Paris, New York, like, and it's all slightly enchantedly disgusting.
There's just a sheen of dirt over the whole thing,
right.
It's
and
like
grime.
Film on everything.
Kayla says Vegas is my favorite vacation destination, and I don't mind being a tourist.
I was thinking about, so like what, it was, I guess about 3 years ago, they legalized weed in Vegas. And I was like, there must have been a measurable decrease in gambling revenue as soon as everyone was allowed to be high.
I wonder how that would affect it, because like if I don't know, it's an interesting sociological experiment that I'm sure we have gone past without recording a single piece of data.
Probably.
Yeah, but I bet it was noticeable difference. I mean,
I wonder if you walk into a old casino, like whatever the Harrah's on the strip or whatever.
Harrah's, right. Circus.
Yeah. Find that cigarette-y old bar waitress with the saggy jugs, and be like, do you remember when weed got legalized? She's like, oh my God, it was like the Great Depression. For three weeks, it was just like no one showed up to gamble. I couldn't give up.
And there's those other places on the strip that are they're like just casinos. They're not hotels. Like we went into one when my wife and I got married in Vegas. And we spent a night of, just out being drunk, like, tourists. And there was one called like the Shamrock, I think. It was some sort of Irish themed something or other. But it was like hands down the dingiest, cheapest casino I've ever been in my entire life. And it was fun. It was fun. It was a good time.
Yeah, but that's where you have to go, because I feel like if you're like me, you want to sort of see the underbelly. Like the touristy parts are already kind of the underbelly, because it's dudes who are away from their wives or away from their jobs or away from their whatever, trying to have a good time and get rowdy with the boys. So it's already got that sheen of like puke floating on a pool. But if you can go under that layer and into the deep part of the pool and see where all the skeezy shit happens, as long as you don't get stabbed by like a shiv in a dark alley,
right?
Like, know your limit. But
so we have a lot of Marriott points. I use this credit card for my business, and like everything that I buy on that credit card gives us points for Marriott hotels, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we are lucky enough to have that happening, and our hotel in Vegas is called the Cosmopolitan, which is kind of like upscale. It's not something that we'd probably be able to afford if we weren't getting the room for free. And with the first time we went there, I'm up on like the 10th or 12th floor of the Cosmopolitan, and I'm hearing this music as if it was coming from the room next door. And I'm like, what the hell is this? I go out on the balcony, and the pool down at the bottom, 10, 12 floors below me, they were having some sort of pool party, one of those, hangover parties or whatever they are, Revive, or, they've all got their own little, you got to pay $30 just to go to the pool and be at this party. They were playing music so loud that I could hear it clearly in my closed hotel room, 12 stories above the pool. And the pool, if you were in that pool, you'd be shoulder to shoulder with 4 other people. You cannot move around in there.
And deaf.
And I was like, that's disgusting.
Right.
You can't pay me enough money to go down there and be squashed in a pool with like, who knows, 100 other people? Like, there was no room to even move around. It can't be fun.
But there are so many people there. Like, why are all those people there, Schwood? Like, you and me can stand up on our balconies or across the terraces and go like, ugh, pigs. Disgusting. But it must have something in it. Like, if it's just like a reckless desire to catch an STD without having sex. Or, access to drugs and the need to be around water so you don't overheat. I don't know.
Yeah.
Everybody's on acid.
It has to be something,
like,
though.
One of the first times I was in Vegas as an adult, if you will, I was with a bunch of people, and, it's one of those things where 12 people go to Vegas and share one hotel room.
Yeah.
And like someone thought it would be a really great idea for all of us to go out to a club. And I am not a club going guy.
No offense intended, but you don't seem like the type.
I'm not. And they had like, I'll never forget it, because we went in this club, and once again, it cost us probably $30 or $40 just to get into this stupid club. Mm-hmm. I walk in, and it was like walking into the middle of like Beverly Hills 90210 or like Melrose Place, where everyone in that place is a 10 except for me and the people that I'm with. And like it's probably one of the most uncomfortable I've ever been in my entire life.
I would love to be in that situation, because people are going to look at you and be like, what's that guy doing there? And if you can bullshit them into thinking you're rich or literally anything, like, because that's the thing, they're vapid and stupid. You see all the 10s, they got in because they got 10 here, but not 10 up here. So if you slide in and be like, yeah, I'm the ugly guy. Like, I've been the ugly guy 1,000,000 out of 1,000,000 times. People go, what's this ugly asshole doing here? He must be
Must have something going on. Yeah, fake it till you make it, right?
I can't tell you how many parties for like Krista's work or whoever that I sail through being the most interesting guy there, not because I'm the most interesting guy there, because I'm the ugliest dude there who everybody's like, what the fuck? And you want to pick that guy's brain.
Now, let me ask you, this flamingo shirt that you have, is that something that you just had? Or is that like something you bought special to put on the podcast?
At this point, it's an Ouroboros. I don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg. Whether I do legitimately like flamingos, so I cannot say that it was bought for the show. But I've got a closet full of flamingo stuff, so I guess technically everything I bought is for the show. So it's a catch-22. You know what I mean? All
right. Is that a tax write-off for you?
I'm sure they're really interested in how I spent $12.
What was that? I heard it.
Yeah, Krista does all the bookkeeping. How is our QuickBooks?
So it's great. Kayla says, now that we're living through the pandemic, Schwood's crowded pool story is downright frightening, right?
I know, but even before, like, the prospect of, like, a communicable disease that the media got us whipped up into a frothy blender drink about, like, just, like, that much, like, proximity to, like, dicks and or buttholes, both probably in the same water. Like, that is butthole stew. Like,
I was telling my wife, I'm like, guaranteed
Giardia.
people are fucking in that pool right now.
Oh,
for sure.
100%.
Oh my God. There was I've told the story before, but it bears repeating. There was a club here in Arizona called Club Rio.
Mm-hmm.
And it was this huge place. And it was dance music, and they'd have foam parties, and it would just be like, you know, half the foam is jizz. But on every Thursday during the day before, you know, hopefully after all the jizz has been either dried up, flaked off, and blown out the door or something, a mop has been involved, they would make the best burgers in the world, the size of your goddamn head. And
but would you want to eat that burger?
It was awesome. Like, the people who ran the club were not the people who cooked the burgers. So these other people would come in, use their awesome grill, like clean the shit out of it, and make these terrific burgers. And then tonight people would be jacking it all over where I was just enjoying a fine meal.
Ew.
It was a strange place.
Arizona's a strange place in general.
You ain't kidding.
Yeah.
Florida gets a lot of shit, but I feel like if we had the same, like, open air, like, news laws, like, privacy wasn't even an issue here, we'd be just as bad.
Yeah. I was down there not that long ago, I guess in February, to visit my dad who lives in Prescott.
Mm-hmm.
And
Nice
yeah,
place.
it was interesting to say the least. And when it comes to, like, you know, following COVID restrictions and stuff like that, there's a big difference between Oregon and Arizona.
Well, let me guess.
cared.
Prescott does not care.
Prescott did not seem to
Yeah.
care very much. No.
Not surprised.
Arizona in general seems to have a laissez-faire attitude on a lot of stuff, which is bizarre. Like, if you're going to really phone in something, no matter what it is, like, don't make that thing, like, not on, like, unwinnable, right? Like a war on drugs. You're never going to win. Weed is always going to be here. Coke is always going to be here. If you say, I'll get you one day, drugs will go, yeah, right, and keep on doing what it does.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, drugs won the war on drugs.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But like with COVID or whatever the thing the government says, hey, protect yourself. It's not even like maybe if it was like war on COVID, people would have gotten all patriotic, pulled the flags out of their asses, and it's like, yeah, America. But if they were like, hey, it's personal protection, protect your own ass, we go, whoa, up yours, asshole. But if we as a country stood up and said, war against COVID, we reanimated Nixon's body, he popped up out of the ground, and we got his head in the jar like Futurama maybe. And he goes, hey, war on COVID. You wear your mask with the little anti-COVID thing, and you show COVID who's boss. Every dumbass motherfucker who said, I have asthma as an excuse, would have gladly wore 2, 3, 4 over each eye. They would have worn them over their tits, one for each ball. They would have gone, like, insane for them. American flag-shaped masks, you just say, hey, war on COVID.
Yeah. I just think that they should do more reverse psychology. Like, you tell these people, like, look, if you wear a mask, you're protected from all the people that got vaccinated.
Gross. They got the devil DNA.
That's right.
I don't know. Whatever the hill you want to die on is always so funny to me. Like, I get that everybody has their. I gotta take these off because they never last the whole show. Whew. Whatever hill you want to die on, like, don't make it my hill, man. Don't bring your hill to me. Fucking leave your shit alone.
Have you ever thought about doing a political commentary show?
No.
Is that a can of worms you don't want to open?
I just don't care. Like, I don't think my opinion on politics will have any bearing. And I don't think that the politics themselves need to be commented on. Because when was the last time you were in a political conversation with someone where at the end they said, hey, you know what? Thank you. I'm a Democrat, or I'm a Republican, or I'm a Green Party member now. Thank you. And they shake your hand. They say, holy fuck.
Yeah, no, that doesn't happen. That certainly does not happen.
But
I think it's a slow burn, though. You know what I do is, like, when I'm out gardening or, you know, just have time to myself and I'm, you know, left in my own brain, I have fake political arguments with people in my life.
Okay.
In my own head.
So
you ever do that?
man. Yeah, like a straw man argument.
Yeah. Well, just like this is what I would say.
Yeah, well, everybody loves that. Like, your imagination is a beautiful thing, and I've put myself in situations where I am the winner 100 times out of 100, whether they be political or not. But when I try to pull them out of my mind into reality, I think, would it be worth it to go up to that person and be like, "Bird," and like fall backwards into the crowd of people who catch me and then carry me off on their shoulders? Like, number one, would that happen? And number two, would I be happy if it happened? Probably not. Like,
and who's this crowd of people gathering around is what I want to know.
Well, at the end of my tirade, it's always like in the movies, it gathers a crowd of slowly congregating people who are won over by
at
my
the
message.
Walmart.
Yeah, and I want to be like, I'd be caught in a Walmart. I'd be at a Target. But all the people at the Target would lift me up on their shoulders, and the person I am now delivering this awesome burn to that I've thought up in my head is just like, like as soon as they carry me out the door and I pass that threshold, their hands fly up to their face in like a McAllister Home Alone bullshit type situation, burst into flames like a piece of flash paper, and then poof to the ground in a little pile of ash.
Your imagination's a little bit wilder than mine.
Listen, there's no limits. I like to live wild is what I'm saying. If it's going to be in my imagination, it's going to be everything I want it to be. It's not going to be me over a cup of coffee being like, well, actually, and then going, oh, yeah. No, at the end, they go up in a puff of smoke or they explode like SpongeBob characters driving off a cliff. Because it's funnier.
That is funnier. I will give you that for sure.
And in real life, they're going to have the equally sick burn that they've been thinking of for you, because no one thinks that they're somebody else's straw man, right?
Right.
Everybody has their own straw man. Like I can, family members, friends, you say, oh, time to burn them. And nobody thinks, oh man, how many times have I personally, Dave Dervis here, how many times have I been burned down in somebody else's head? Millions?
Yeah.
It's weird to think about, right?
It is weird, yeah.
But it's happening.
Well, I think about that, and then I think about, I wonder how many pictures in the world exist where I'm just in the background of the picture, unbeknownst to me.
I know I'm in the foreground of a lot that were taken this recent weekend.
Yeah.
Why?
We went to Tombstone, the ghost town / OK Corral, everything, and took the ghost tour bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And
no good. It's not a recommendation.
No, it was totally fun. I recommend it. I just don't think ghosts are real. That's where my bullshit lies. But we went there and it was totally fun. It was hilarious. It was great. We saw all the stuff. It was like a little cool thing. And then they're like, okay, now it's time for the lights out portion of the tour. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, 5-8 minutes of the lights out thing where we all go, whoa.
30 minutes.
Yeah, she goes, hey, for the first 20 minutes, this is going to happen. And for the last 10. And I go, what?
She's like, the first 30 minutes, no flash on your cameras.
Oh my God. Yeah.
But the last 10 is coolio, but you got to say flash before you take a picture.
Yeah,
and
no one listened to anything. And everyone was hearing ghosts. People were saying hello. There were cards. I never saw or heard a thing, but the person not 10 feet from me was having a next level Ghostbusters style, like haunted courtroom bullshit experience.
It was funny.
So
sounds pretty fun.
It was. I'm telling you, it was so fun. This chick had her jugs out practically the whole time. It was insane.
Definitely the whole time.
Yeah, like when you show up to a ghost tour, like what I would wear if I were her and had that body, I would maybe do a couple of sit-ups personally if I had that body. But what I would do is exactly what she did. I would essentially just wear a bra with a lace curtain over my belly and show up in hopefully the ghost like white bread or dough at least. And know how to bake.
Speaking of jugs hanging out, we were talking earlier about suds and maybe having suds on or talking to suds or talking about suds or whatever.
We can definitely talk about suds. Nothing stops.
That's our buddy Suds, and he wouldn't mind me telling this story. But when I went to his wedding, which was also in Vegas,
Big Vegas
the night before his wedding, we had his quote unquote bachelor party, and his bachelor party was at the saddest strip show. You know, like how they got those strip shows in Vegas where it's like a topless review or whatever, and they're singing songs and they're whipping their shirts off and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But it was in this little theater. The theater's got basically 2 or 3 rows of just regular chairs, not like actually theater seats or anything.
Folding
And
chairs.
you sit down and you're going through this thing, and it was like, I was telling my wife, I'm like, I'm less horny for having seen that show.
Yeah.
Like, how is that possible? And on top of that, Suds and his fiance's parents were there.
But Suds is the kind of guy who wants to do the most awkward thing available. So that just seems like tailor-made. Like, if you're
Mission accomplished.
Yeah. If you're the type of dude, and Suds is, if you're the type of dude to test people's boundaries and like make everybody just a little bit uncomfortable, to tip them a little bit, I can't think of a better way. Like, I did some work when I was an electrician. I did some work at a strip club. So we were there from when they closed to when they opened. So I got to see the A-listers leave and the C-listers come in.
The 6 a.m. shift.
Yeah. It was a pretty big difference.
A drastic change.
But, God bless them. Somebody has to be there at 11 a.m. to shake them because there's an audience.
You imagine getting to any sort of point in your life where you're a strip club regular?
Well, here's my question.
Or like the 11 o'clock regular.
Where does the money come from, and how do you stretch that dollar, right?
Well, I think it's just like any addiction, right? The money comes from wherever you're scraping it up. It's about your priorities. I mean, if you're addicted to alcohol, you're finding money to, get alcohol. If you're addicted to shoving dollar bills in a stripper's G-string, then that's what you're addicted to.
Yeah, I guess you're right. The details don't matter because however you're going to find it, you're going to find it. But like, when you get to that point, I always wanted that relationship with a building, an establishment somewhere where they know an order of mine or they know me by name or face or whatever. But then when you think about it and you think that's actually kind of depressing, no matter what the establishment.
I was one at a bar back in the day when I was in college. We would go, my boyfriend at the time and I would go to the same bar once or twice a week or whatever and get dinner. And Gino was the bartender and he knew my drink and he would make drinks and want us to try them and give him our opinion and stuff. And it was nice, but I mean, like, I got looking back, it doesn't really matter anymore.
I had that with the local. I got that with the local coffee drive-through place because we have all these drive-through coffee joints out here, so they kind of know me. They know my order, that kind of thing. You know what's funny is one time I went through I take that back. My wife went through the drive-through to get me a coffee because I was doing something else, and she ordered the coffee wrong. She didn't order my normal coffee, and the barista corrected her on it. She knew that it was. She's like, no, it's a salted caramel latte is what he wants.
Dear Lord, all the.
And my wife was pretty annoyed about that.
So, well, let me ask you this: so if maybe you are, maybe you're not. Are you a coffee snob, or do you consider yourself like a coffee enthusiast? Okay, so
I am addicted to sugar, and I like the sugary coffee drinks.
Yeah, I just wanted to be clear. So we go to Starbucks for you, right? Okay, because
yeah.
there are so many. Coffee is such a no man's land because if someone says, "Oh, I love Starbucks," I say, "Okay, you don't like coffee." Check.
No. Because Starbucks coffee is not good.
No, and that's the thing. I've given up fighting that battle because you can't win. Because the people who think Starbucks is good will never go to Dutch Brothers or BlackRock or any of those little artsy places that have 900 pounds of brass that came from Italy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, the thing though is Dutch Brothers is worse than Starbucks.
Oh, I like their I think their coffee itself tastes better than Starbucks coffee. I've only had them a few times because like they're fucking packed all the time.
Let's be real. Starbucks is the Burger King of coffee, which means it's like, who gives a fuck? How do you maintain quality across anything that big? Same thing with Dutch Brothers, same thing with BlackRock, except in certain cases, some like the franchise owners take their balls in their own hands and they lead with their own destiny. But that's the thing too. You can also find like the local place that's like artisanal and they'll serve you a watery, pathetic like cup of camel piss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then you go to a truck stop on I-95 and it's the best cup of coffee you've ever had.
Right. Because they know what the people need to drive.
It's people love their coffee, and you're probably one of these people, Schwood. I'm not going to judge, but this is probably you. These people who like their coffee like a shade darker than just tap water. And then they load it with
I wouldn't
cream
say
and
that.
sugar
Yeah,
and-
my hang up with coffee is I don't like hot coffee. I only like iced coffee.
I like it either way, but I want it so black that if I held it up to the sun, you couldn't see the sun. Like, I want my coffee so black that if I could hold it in front of a welder's face if he left his mask at home. You know what I mean?
Oh, maybe that's a new product. Just instead of like
Welder's
the actual
coffee.
tint on the mask, you just splash some coffee on his face.
Yeah, Dave Brand Welder's coffee. You splash him in the face. You say, now you can get to work and build America, son, you goddamn steel worker. Yeah, but that's the thing. Nobody else identifies with that, at least in my life, because I say, here's how coffee should be. And I hand someone a cup and they go, oh, this is actually very good. But then the caffeine hits them and they go, whoa, now I'm all in a tizzy. And I say, buckle up and fucking enjoy it. Like, what's the point of drinking coffee if you're not in it for the ride?
Well, but if I'm not mistaken, and please correct me if I'm wrong.
I will.
The lighter the roast on the coffee, the more caffeine it has. The darker the roast, the less caffeine it has.
I don't think so.
That is
because like a blonde roast
incorrect.
is
Someone look that up.
I'm
Kayla.
pretty sure that is the opposite because your espresso or your like French roast, all your darker beans or your high caffeinated stuff. Like there's a brand called Death Coffee and it's all extra dark. Like the caffeine needs to be crystallized through the heating process. But if I'm making all of this up, Kayla will learn in the show typing square.
Yeah, I heard that from, I used to do work for a coffee roaster in my old hometown, and he's the one who told me that. So listen, if he's wrong, then he's a shitty coffee roaster.
Maybe the Discovery Channel led me wrong. I don't know. I've never made coffee. I've just drank a fuck ton of it.
Yeah.
I stick with the medium to medium dark roast though, because I think that's when most of your flavor comes out. You go too far, the flavor's ruined. It's like a nice steak. A coffee bean is like a nice steak. Undercooked, what the fuck are we doing here? Overcooked, holy shit, what a waste. Right there, medium.
A lot of coffee is just the smell too, because coffee doesn't taste nearly as good as it smells.
I'll give you that because your nose has all of the things that your tongue lacks, and the body is there in the nose, but it sort of falls flat on the tongue. That's why you need something like butter or heavy cream, something to give it weight. Coffee, black is fine, but it feels ethereal, right? When you drink a black coffee, you go, what is this? It's just a bitter liquid.
That's coffee.
Yeah, well, you throw yourself some heavy cream.
Dave, you just described coffee.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But you want some weight behind it. Throw some weight in there. So I'm telling you, the heavy cream, the butter, no margarine, coconut oil and or butter. I don't care which.
Is that like a keto coffee that you're describing? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
If you want to call it that, yeah. But the Tibetans have been putting butter in their coffee for thousands of years before the word keto was a thing. So
I've never had butter in coffee. I've had cream in coffee, which is dairy, so that's I guess similar.
It's not for everybody. A lot of people say, it makes my lips.
Everybody. Yeah. I don't like how it feels in my mouth. I don't like the mouth feels of melted butter in my coffee.
Yeah. I don't know if I would like that either. And like, can you get that at Starbucks? Can you go to Starbucks and be like, I'll take
No, it's a DIY.
Double decaffeinated half calf with a stick of butter?
We're not there yet. We're making strides. But one day, that's maybe the hill I'll die on. I have a flag it's a white background with a pat of butter on it. And it says, one day, goddammit.
Why wouldn't Starbucks do that though? I mean, if butter in your coffee is a thing that people are doing, why would they not use that marketing opportunity to actually do that?
I don't know. I don't understand a lot of what Starbucks does because it seems to appeal to an audience that is not me. So I don't know who it appeals to. You know what I mean? I see the people.
Kayla, get Starbucks on the phone.
Yeah, can we get Starbucks on the phone? I need to talk to Mr. Bucks. It just seems like a place where the flimsiest of personalities can spend a little time away from home. Like a Starbucks sitting area is a place for the young and the old alike to go someplace and to do something in front of someone to validate whatever it is they're doing.
Yeah. My favorite thing is when like you go to Starbucks and people are sitting there and they get annoyed when it gets too loud. It's like, dude, you're in a Starbucks.
Right. And
Um,
so go ahead.
I have your caffeine answer.
Okay.
It's an odd
Oh.
one.
An odd one.
Lighter roast coffee has more caffeine by volume, but darker roast has more caffeine by weight.
Right, because the only thing you're doing is when you're roasting it is essentially just removing the water. So by volume and by weight would make complete sense. So we're both right, Schwood.
Interesting.
Congratulations.
And we're both wrong.
Right.
No, I don't like to look at it like that. I like to think of it as both winning. I mean, you can lose if you want, but I won that bitch.
Oh, okay. I'll give it to you.
What was I talking about
You can have that one.
Butter in your
Swish.
coffee.
Oh yeah, the butter.
And Starbucks being sad.
Oh yeah, no, that's the thing. That's the other part of it. Like if Starbucks had great coffee, it would be easy to look past. But it's a double whammy. It's like mediocre at best coffee if someone behind the counter actually has some spark behind the eyes. But then it's like over here you've got people doing physics homework. This guy's writing a book. This guy has every piece of technology available, plus several notepads and some pencils because he's got to keep track of his life in public. Then there's the dog.
Their snacks are the worst.
Oh God,
They're very overpriced. They're
And
not very
dry.
large for what you're paying, and they're dry and disgusting.
yeah. I not for nothing, but I feel like everybody has this dream, so I'm not going to be ashamed of it. I want to open up, like everybody else, a nice little coffee shop and have nothing but palatable things, pleasant music, a comfortable atmosphere.
Butter in your coffee.
Butter in your fucking coffee. Like, and you know, I understand that, like, when Starbucks first started, I'm sure they were like, yeah, it's time to make a difference. But now that they're completely sold out and the friendly face is now like a Mickey Mouse with the skull laughing behind it, it's time to move on, right? Like, it's
Is it salted butter or unsalted butter?
I do both. I'll do either. I like to go with the salted because, not for nothing here, Schwood, but when you're on a low-carb diet, you lose electrolytes a little quicker. Not a lot quicker, but a little quicker. So I always like to double up on that shit. Personally.
You're on a low-carb diet?
Yeah.
You don't seem like you need to lose any weight.
I don't. I'm not losing weight. I'm staying thin and healthy. Thank you for noticing.
Oh. Okay. Well, good. Kudos.
Right, but that's the thing. Everybody says, you're on a diet. You don't need to lose weight. Well, yeah, because I'm on a diet. I'm on a healthy diet.
It's a lifestyle change.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's not... I don't...
We dieted to lose weight and then are sticking with it.
But it's
for the
whatever. Like, that's
lifestyle.
the thing. I don't... Everybody has, like... Everybody's sticking point around food is like they fetishize it. I don't want to be a food boogeyman or a food fetishist. I don't give a fuck. Like, if you want to eat what you want to eat, just don't, like... I don't care. But and everybody thinks I'm weird because they're like, oh, you don't eat this? How do you survive? I don't know. Look at me. How do I look like I'm doing? Am I cool? I feel okay.
Well, what's something that you don't eat?
Bread, pasta, like grain, essentially. Like
Oh, really?
meat, cheese, vegetable, basically everything except grains.
Gluten, yeah.
And it's totally fine. Like I splurge every once in a while. We'll have some potatoes every now and again. We'll have
So like no pizza.
We have cauliflower pizza.
Oh, okay.
But that's the thing. If you think of it as suffering, then yeah, don't even start because I don't want to hear you complain like everybody who tried it and was like, Dave, you were wrong. Well, you didn't want to do it, so don't come yelling at me and be like, I didn't want to do it. When I tried, I hated it. Whoa, you got me.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
But I think if you are interested in my weirdo habits, I will gladly talk to you about them. But I'm not gonna like get up on my my carton of butter and be like, thou shalt, with my turkey leg.
So you don't have a soapbox; you just have a carton of butter. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, we moved on from the soap. I use body wash now, and those don't come in crates anymore.
With the loofah?
I've had the same, not for nothing. My Axe body wash loofah thing I've had for roughly 8 years longer than my son has been alive, and it is now continuing. Time is such a weird thing because I'm sure 10 years ago when that thing was created, it was like in its wildest dreams, never did it think it would be shoved into a small person's ass to get all the turds out every night. But here we are, 10
Here
years
you
later,
are.
it's still holding strong. Axe.
You're
makes
not
a-
concerned that like loofah technology has increased to the point where you're missing out?
What could they possibly add? Like, we had the original loofah as brought to us by nature. Then man stepped in to be like, you know what? Fish netting in some sort of weird pattern, better than ever.
And purple or whatever color.
Yeah, whatever.
It ain't purple no more.
Yeah, who knows? The color technology is advanced. We're up to 32-bit, I believe. So,
You know, you want to hear a good segue? How about this one?
Of course I do.
I learned about a new technology this week.
Tell me about it.
This is pretty amazing because it's one of those things where you hear about it and you're like, that's not a real thing. But turns out it is. So there was a story going around of this, like, you know, we do computer networking and whatnot. And one of my coworkers sent me a story that he found on some computer networking post on Facebook or something. And this guy had gone out to a client's place and set up his internet connection or his network connection and set everything up and then left. And about, you know, half hour after he left, the guy calls him back and he's like, nothing's working. Internet's down. Nothing's working. So the guy's like, God damn it. You know, he goes back, you know, starts troubleshooting, gets it back up, but then it goes out again. And, you know, long story short, he figures out that all of the traffic in this guy's network is being redirected to this one weird location. And he looks it up and he figures out what it is. And he turns to the client and he's like, what's Covenant Eyes? And the guy was like, oh man. And he got real sheepish, like real, like, oh, embarrassed. Oh my God. All right. So Covenant Eyes. I want everyone to look this up because it's amazing that this exists.
Okay.
This is spyware that religious Christians put on their own computers.
No.
It periodically takes pictures of your screen, does screenshots, and sends it to your friends and family in order to help you overcome porn addiction.
No.
Oh, here. When the shame cycle is broken, change is possible.
What?
Covenant Eyes
That's
helps
a
you.
real thing. $16 a month, by the way.
Oh my God.
And yeah, that's like, who thought of that? It's like, well, you're a religious person. You're so addicted to porn. You know what we're going to do? We're going to watch your computer all the time and send pictures to your wife and your pastor.
Like, you know, I get that there are people who have vices, quote unquote vices, and there's always going to be people out there to exploit them. But I feel like there's a certain type of people, the religious type, who are easily exploitable because of, they say, well, we're the same religion, so follow this. Like, this will help. We have so many, like, in-network, like, Christian auto mechanics and stuff, or, like, Mormonism is big out here.
This is creepy.
Yeah, and there's something in the same vein for, like, my genre. There's a cost-sharing plan. It's not an insurance company. It's a cost-sharing plan run by Jesus or God or Joseph or one of those dudes. And it's like American Ministries Health Co-op or something. And they don't do jack shit. You pay them a monthly fee for them to do jack shit and hand you the bill for your thing at the end of the thing. And that's basically what this is. It's like, hey, we're going to do literally nothing for you except potentially ruin you at your own request.
There's also
They've got testimonials down at the bottom of the webpage. Here's one. You ready for this?
Oh, God. Okay.
Covenant Eyes has helped me stay on the right path and given my wife the confidence to trust for the first time in our marriage. So blessed to have this software.
How
5 stars.
How weak-willed, how weak-minded do you have to be?
Well, also, that's the first time in your marriage that you've had trust?
Ever. Because
thanks to this spyware? Like, what?
Listen, Jesus works in mysterious ways, I hear, and I never heard spyware as not being one of them. That was not in the Bible.
Yeah, well, listen, free porno on the internet wasn't in the Bible either.
Right.
So I guess you learn to adapt.
I think that's like a cute, for $16 a month, whatever. You can make money off of dummies.
They tweeted, so Covenant Eyes tweeted on May 25th.
Oh, God.
Don't give up. Push through the discomfort because quitting is more than worth it, and a better life is waiting on the other side. And they put a picture, and it says short-term pain equals long-term gain. And it says the short-term pain of headaches, irritability, brain fog, restlessness, and anxiety goes
Just
to
caused by
less shame,
porn?
calm, more free time, confidence, and focus.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Well-
like, or just jerk off.
Right. What if you just admitted to yourself that you are a fully functioning human being with, whatever your situation being as it may? Hey, guess what? You're like the rest of us. What? It's so funny to me, like, because you're essentially admitting to the people around you, like, I cannot control myself when it comes to
Right.
porn.
And I'm a deviant.
And you're a deviant. So becoming maybe that's actually the part that works when you have to sign up for the people who get screenshots and cue
Yeah.
them in, because a secret is only powerful as long as it is a secret. Like if you are now accountable to 3 people for your secret, it has no more power. And you waste.
Imagine the conversation when a wife broaches this subject with her porn addicted husband for the first time.
Well, he would have to come to her first, right?
You don't know. Maybe not. Maybe she, here's the
she says-
situation. He's got this problem.
Yeah.
He's,
And she says, "Here's
wanking
the
it to who knows what on the internet all the time.
Okay.
It's affecting their life because they're not as, pious as they should be. She goes to the local pastor, and the local pastor goes, I've got a referral code. Go
10%
to
off.
covenanteyes.com and get your husband to, put this on his computer.
covenanteyes.com//Pastor Dustin. You get 10% off.
Oh,
your
they
first.
probably got a referral program, right?
Oh,
I'll go
yeah.
to the
Sure.
bottom. Let's see.
Squarespace probably is the parent company.
There's also an
affiliate program. Affiliate
go.
program. There
Hey,
we go.
Guess what? This show brought to you by not jerking it, or else you'll get caught by your friends and your family. Not
I
jerking.
think I'm gonna do I'll do a YouTube video on this and see if I can't get a bunch of affiliate signups.
Please
There's
do.
also an app which is like the same thing called Nanny.
That was going to be my next question, because guess what? You've got a computer in your pocket, and you can take that into any bathroom.
Well, but so yeah, I get the app, but I understand for children maybe this is something that you'd want to just straight up block porn. And by the way, why can't you just use a porn blocker?
Well, here's my.
Why do you have to
s-
send this to your friends and family?
Here's my secondary question: why is it that everybody will readily admit that all three stooges, the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, totally omnipotent and omniscient? So you're cool with them knowing what you're doing because they cannot not know that you're yanking it to really gross shit. But you're worried about the people here finding out. And that's what, you need a computer program. Like Jesus is up there shaking his head, being like he's yanking it again.
That's a really good point. Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that aspect of it, but you're totally right.
It's a Deus Ex Machina. God himself cannot keep your hand off of your joint. However, $16 a month is enough to make you a pious individual.
Yeah.
Kayla
$16.
says- She says, spyware is in the Bible. I think it's in the book of Dude, They're On to Me.
Oh, yeah. Dude, they're on me. 316. Ha, brah.
Porn creates shame. Shame fuels. Oh, I lost it.
No.
Shame
Porn-
fuels porn usage. Shame is the feeling that we are all flawed and unworthy of love.
Right, I agree
Using
with that.
porn creates shame, which isolates us, and we return to porn to cope.
No. Porn doesn't create shame. Human culture creates shame around porn, even though we all use it behind closed doors. It's like we're all standing in a big circle looking at each other being like, yes, it's all disgusting. And then we go, and we all spin 180 degrees and yank one really quick. And we go, turn around like nothing happened. Like,
Well,
I
not
don't
to
know.
mention just like a life growing up totally repressed.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that has something to do with it, I imagine.
Yeah, everybody is fucked up in their own weird and special way. But if that's it, that's the thing. There's no wrong method. If they cannot, if a book written by a bunch of dudes 2,000 years ago can't get you to stop pulling your pud, and it takes $16 and screenshots to do it, so be it. It seems pathetic to me, but I'm not going to judge. I will just say the words out loud and let you do the thinking.
Oh, I'll judge.
Yeah, please. Well, that also is part of my theory too. Is if you're still locked into this system, any amount of money you pay towards something, you will expect your money's worth. So that $16, it could be 65 cents. As long as you're doing it, you expect your money's worth. Hey, I just gave this guy $16 to not touch my own penis. I expect my money's worth, sir. keep them hands where I can see them. Like what? Just put $16 on the counter, and if you yank it, put it in the garbage. How about that?
Your allies will receive comprehensive reports of your screen activity, lessening the temptation to look at porn. You know what, David? I'm going to sign up for this and put it on my computer, and I'm going to put you as my ally.
My email's going to explode. My ally. I like to call it an ally. Like, yeah, if I would want to ally myself with someone who's so driven by their carnal desires that I need to be alerted whenever they yank it. That's who I want.
This thing has been around for 20 years.
Jesus Christ! As long as the internet's been
as long as porn, has been.
I wonder if there was like a before the internet version where like if you signed up for porn magazines, they would send them to like Covenant Eyes first, and they would change the front of the magazine to like a really stern looking mom being like, "I don't think this is a good idea," or something, right?
They just had someone like outside your house in the bushes, looking at what you're putting on the Betamax.
Oh yeah. It was like, just like a corkboard in the middle of town. They would take a picture of the porn as you were getting handed it by the mailman. They're like, "Oh, you did it again."
Yeah. What a world, man.
Yeah, what a strange world. And that's the thing. You can never... I always say I'm surprised, but I don't think I ever am, because there's nothing out there that's crazy enough that I'm like, no way! Because what is there that's... like... if you can find something that genuinely shocks me, I will be genuinely shocked. But until then, I will have to feign what is happening right now, because I guarantee it, because when there's one, they're like roaches. I guarantee there's a million different apps and spywares. Oh my God. And then to have to, like, I can't imagine that conversation your coworker had with that guy.
You know what would be, I'm thinking 4-dimensional chess now. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Covenant Eyes should have a second revenue stream where people that have the spyware installed on their computer can pause it for like 30 minutes for like another $15.
But then where are we as a society then, Schwood? If we're preying on our own people that we're trying to help, I feel like we're just perpetrating a victim.
This is already preying on people, though, don't you think?
Like,
oh yeah, it totally is.
So okay,
but why put them in another smaller wheel? You know what I mean?
So if
for the money, that's why.
If a person's paying $16 a month so that they don't watch porn, what about everybody else in the house? What if they have a teenager son that watches porn? Does it then get sent to the people like, hey, you're doing that? And then the person that wasn't actually watching it gets accused of doing it because it's coming from the same IP address?
Right, because then you'd have to like, I don't know. That's the thing.
What if your fetish is taking nude pictures of yourself, putting it on your own computer so that your allies have to see it?
That's the thing, Schwood. Every system is exploitable if you are the type of weirdo to find it. And you found it. Like, that would be a great way to like prank your friends and neighbors. Be like, hey, I'm like, oh my God. And yeah, that would be like a hilarious prank because you're bulletproof either way. If you say, hey, I'm dealing with this, like, come to them seriously. Say, hey, I've got this problem. Would you please? I don't want to explain it. You can do the research if you want, but I need you to be my ally for Covenant Eyes. And they go, oh my God. And they get solemn and serious and they go,
I'd be honored.
Yeah. Oh, please. Self-improvement with you? God, yes. You, of course, Dave. And then just shot after shot on my own joint. Pew, 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 fell off the wagon again. 20 minutes later. Oh no, I fell off. This is the bumpiest ride of my life. Please send your prayers. And you're going to be on that mailing list, my friend.
Your wife's like, honey, I received a call from Pastor Jim.
He says he's put you in his spam folder. What does that mean? Says he doesn't want to be your ally anymore. I don't know what's happening. Yeah, that's the equivalent of like buying somebody one of those disgusting magazines back in the old days, the IRL days before the internet.
Boy, when I was in middle school, there was like, I don't even know why this was a thing, but like in my hometown, there was like a little newspaper, like magazine stand, newspaper stand, right? Mm-hmm. And it had just like little naughty, I guess, adverts. I don't know if it was like a singles thing or whatever, but you could go there and, so what I would do as a kid I think I must have been like 7th or 8th grade.
Uh-huh.
I would ride my bike down there. I would put in a quarter, and then I'd open it up and take the entire stack, and then I would put it in my backpack and take it to school and then sell it to the other kids.
That's brilliant.
And I never got caught for it, but this kid that I actually didn't like somehow had my bag. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was, but he got in trouble for it because they found him with my bag full of dirty little magazines.
And how did he take the heat for that, though?
I don't even remember, man, but I just I vaguely remember something like that happening.
That's crazy. Yeah, we have, I don't know if we have those here, but we had those when I was a kid because I remember seeing them and being so covetous of them, being like, oh my God, it's like porn and only 75 cents away, but I never had any quarters.
You're like, well, I can do my laundry at the laundromat, or...
Oh, this is before I was even like, I'm talking preteen. I'm 12, maybe 13. But
God, it just, like my daughter is 9 now, and it's like we gotta start thinking about this stuff.
But really, because I mean, if you think about it, you're like, oh, I gotta protect my kids from the things that I did. How? If you did them, how are you gonna stop your kids? Like, don't even try.
Yeah, you're right.
Think of all the shit you did and the things that you got away with. Your parents don't know, and I don't know why we have that blind spot. When you have a kid, you go, "Oh God, I hope they don't do the things I did," and then as soon as you turn your back, guess what they're doing?
Right. Well, listen, they got to learn somehow. You just gotta hope they make the right decisions in life.
Right.
I guess that's what it is. It's giving them the tools as they're growing up to make the right decisions later in life.
Yeah. Because you can't be up their ass all the time, because the second you pop out of there, they're going to do the exact same thing that you told them not to do.
Or you can just install Covenant Eyes.
Or Covenant Eyes. Covenant Eyes.
That's right.
/ FFOP radio for 10% off your first spank rejection.
It's $20 per referral, David.
Say what?
Yeah, they gave the affiliate program says $20 per referral. They don't give you the money in perpetuity.
Oh.
I'd rather take 10% in perpetuity, but $20 one time per referral.
That's sucky. Well, I guess whatever. What do I need the money for when we can have Covenant Eyes doing something for Jesus somehow? That's another thing.
What if Covenant Eyes actually sends all the pictures to Jesus?
Well, Jesus has them always. Like, he's always with us. Jesus is in our hearts. Haven't you read the Bible?
Yes,
It's the real good news. But my question is, like, if Covenant Eyes is doing this under the guise of Jesus and all that other stuff, like, do they have that bearded guy with the cul-de-sac of hair on staff taking that money to third world countries to feed children? Or is there some guy at the top being like, thanks, Jesus, and he's got a big pinky ring that's a cross made out of platinum and diamonds?
Probably that one.
Yeah, definitely that one. Mm-hmm. But, whatever. Money is meaningless, and if you can get someone to find themselves by denying themselves the thing that they want, makes sense, right?
How else did you make this, I wonder?
We're having a rough time, Schwood. We're losing you a little bit.
Like, guys?
What?
Yeah. You're totally frozen now. Look there's frozen Schwood right up there in the corner. Boop.
Oh no.
Oh.
Can you still hear me, or is it just frozen?
You're like a robot.
You just came back. You were
Okay.
frozen and deaf, or not deaf, but mute.
You know what it was? Is all the Covenant Eyes was getting uploaded for a moment.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, quit downloading that during the show. Like, if you want to
Put your credit card away.
He's got his little half counting glasses on. Okay, security code is Covenant Eyes. $20 a pop, though. What a ripoff.
So what else is new, David? I haven't talked to you in a while.
Yeah, not a whole lot. We're moving. Everything is pretty much as is.
Oh, you know what I wanted to tell you? I gotta apologize to Krista. When she was doing a birthday thing for you, and I totally dropped the ball on getting some sort of statement about friendship or something like that. I don't know what it was.
Schwood totally dropped the ball. And
I dropped the ball on it, and I thought about it maybe like a week after I was supposed to, like a week after the due date, and I was like, oh God damn it!
My statement.
I totally forgot.
That's okay.
I totally forgot. It's nothing against you. Just it's just everyone's busy.
Right.
Yeah, everybody. Life continues on regardless of my milestones. There's no such thing as achievements, so don't lose any sleep over it. I'm sure you
I
didn't,
won't.
but
I want to apologize to Krista. Krista, I'm very sorry.
That's okay.
To her, it's her that she's persistent about the whole thing.
you're turning into a straight up robot.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Please
Sorry.
correct your robotness.
Sorry.
Oh, and so the last time we talked on like a live Schwood or a recording or whatever it was, maybe it wasn't during a recording. I don't know. You had some things to decode in a goddamn YouTube video for a gift card. Let me tell you, I tried. I fucking tried to decode that stupid thing, and I gave up because I don't know how many pieces of paper I threw away trying to figure out.
Back when you were doing your scavenger hunt for the $100 gift card for Amazon or something, and you were doing that cipher or
the cipher thing.
Yeah, it was just like it was like a shift of like a couple letters.
Yeah, I was
in
trying.
the alphabet.
Yeah, well, I didn't know which way to do it. I was man,
never figured it out, so
mad.
she gave up.
I gave up,
and it's tough too because it's an Amazon code. It's not like actual words.
Right.
No wind talker, my wife.
No.
You know what's funny though is every time I've done that, like someone nails it within the first like 5 minutes.
Well, that's the thing when you crowdsource anything, when you throw it into a million monkeys with a million typewriters, there's one monkey out there who's geared for the thing that you're throwing at him.
Yeah, I've popped up Amazon codes for like one frame of a video and people have nailed it.
It's so people like that are so interesting to me because like I sometimes change all the goofy shit behind me back here, not all of it. I'll move stuff around to see if anyone cares. Nobody does, but I do it because it's fun for me. Mm-hmm. But there might be somebody out there who might be like, just like Schwood.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, especially on YouTube or anywhere, anytime you're putting yourself out there, people notice everything. Like I get told, I can't tell you how many times people have given me recommendations for like skin treatments because my skin's a little blotchy in a video or something like that. It's really like you gotta kind of have a thick skin.
Just
to
tell
put yourself
people
out there.
Just tell people immediately all the things that you think that are going to be under fire. Like me and my lady hair and my awful hat and my beard and everything. Like I bring that up every time so that someone in the comments can't be like, now it's time to, oh fuck, he got me. It already happened. You know what I mean?
You gotta pull like the Eminem 8 Mile self burn, and then they don't have any ammo.
Right.
If you're the one calling it out first, you're the firsties. The guy who comes there second feels broke dick and doesn't do it.
That's right.
Or if he does, it's not very funny. Or if he does and it's very funny, then you say, thank you, sir. But those are very...
What do you got for us, Dave? You got a game? You got anything we can play?
No, this is pretty much it. It's a hangout sesh. We just sort of talk. What's up with the your business? What's happening? Like, because I know we can get into that a little bit because I am interested. Like, 'cause I watch all your videos and I don't absorb any of it because it's all Greek.
It's a lot of tech talk. Yeah, it's a lot of tech talk.
But it's so highly specific, too. It's not like tech talk, because I do like certain aspects of tech. Like, I like certain aspects of computing, and I like the Raspberry Pi stuff and all that. But yours seems like so hyper-focused. It's like a laser beam that just shoots me right through the brain and misses all my neurons.
Well, that's what people, listen, there's niches in YouTube, and that's just, I found a niche that seems to work. I'll tell you what my next sort of realm. Speaking of Raspberry Pi, I've recently been getting into home automation. Mm-hmm. So like the ability to put something on a Raspberry Pi that can control all of your lights and all of your stuff. I can control my thermostat and my robot vacuum and if someone opens the front door, I can have it, turn on a light in the upstairs hallway if I wanted to, whatever. Like all these weird little automation things. It's crazy. What you can do with it. And on top of that, on YouTube, those home automation videos get hundreds of thousands of views, which is like insane to me.
But let me ask you this. Aren't you at least a little worried that the machine will become self-aware and destroy you in your sleep?
No.
Damn it.
No, I'm not. And that's not to say that that's not something that could happen. I mean, artificial intelligence is, when we're getting warned by Bill Gates that we should really slow it down a little bit. Then that's probably something to be concerned about. But I don't think the smart light bulb I put in my office here is gonna take anything over.
Yeah, but then I don't know. See, you may be the guy to talk to about this with the AI and everything. I don't think there's anything necessarily to fear because there is 0% chance, I think, in our lifetime that someone's going to replicate any part of the human brain to any sort of realistic capacity. Full disclosure, I don't think it's going to happen.
I mean, it's a big ask, right? And
Huge.
we're nowhere near that level of technology that something like that would be possible.
No, because you would have to because how do you define self-awareness and consciousness? Everything on in existence has a primitive form of consciousness because we are made up of the stuff that is all around us. So when you break apart the pieces, a little bit goes into everything. So when everybody's it's the same thing of the concept of the devil DNA and the fucking COVID vaccine. It's are there possibilities, not obviously in this scenario with the devil DNA, but there's you look at the human brain, all of its functions, all of its cognitive abilities, the cortex and the outer cortex and the inner cortex and all the limbic system and shit. And you're telling me that you can pack all of that on what? You would need terabytes of space and gigabyte, processing. And because you have to read every situation. Don't be stupid. Artificial intelligence would be so incredibly complex because human consciousness, or even bug-like consciousness, and the ability to make decisions and move around, it just seems so crazy.
Yeah. I think what we'll see, certainly in our lifetimes, is not necessarily even artificial intelligence, but just really well-programmed machines taking over a lot of jobs that humans are typically doing, like long haul truckers, for instance. I think within 20 years, there won't be any more long haul truckers. It'll all just be, autonomous trucks driving down the highway, delivering goods or whatever. So there's that kind of stuff that I think would definitely be on the horizon, but I don't think those trucks are turning into Decepticons all of a sudden and taking everyone over.
Because you have to keep in mind that I don't know why machines or computers get this scary stigma where we're oh, what if they become self-aware? They do nothing aside from what they are programmed to do. They are not a computer board is a static object. You can load software onto it, but your brain is a physical structure that is constantly changing every day. So unless you can find a computer that'll do that, I mean, sure, you can have somebody be uh-oh, this one got programmed to kill and have a Terminator 2 situation. But
although some of those robots that they're building are getting pretty advanced. I mean, you see them dancing and doing flips and stuff.
Oh,
now.
For sure. But they're doing nothing of their own volition. As fun as the song and dance of it all is, I watch a puppet show and I don't think, oh, fuck, that dude's hand has magic in it. I think, oh, well, this is, it's the puppet isn't doing jack shit other than what the puppeteer is telling them to. You can program a robot to play soccer, but then if you say, hey, good job on the soccer game, now make me some macaroni, it'll go, woo, and kick a soccer ball.
Right. And even a robot that's going around trying to find a soccer ball and it can identify a soccer ball and do something with it, it's still all of that was programmed by humans, at least, so far. Yeah.
It's insane to me that, but there's conspiracy theorists and I love conspiracy theories. I love them all. I love the cryptids. I love the aliens. I love the government thing. I love the moon landing shit. I love the Kennedy shit. I think it's all fucking fascinating and bonkers because if we didn't have crazy people like that who are still allowed to run around society, it's amazing to me that you can believe anything you want and go unchecked throughout the world.
Well, it's because everyone has a microphone. You know what I mean? And that's the new thing. That's the new thing for the past however long. I mean,
well, and thank God.
I've got a cousin who's a flat earther, and God. It's endlessly fascinating to me,
isn't it?
That's even a thing, and all it is someone who some small group of people made a small group on the internet talking about how they think the earth is flat. And then they started to gain notoriety because of it. They started to make money because of it. And so then they were incentivized to keep that going, regardless of what any, actual science tells them.
Right. Here's my question under any conspiracy, any crackpot theory, any of that. My question is always this. So let's say whatever the hill you want to die on, whether it be cryptids or cryptocurrency. I say, good news. Let's play this little game. Everything you believe is now true. There are ghosts. There are Bigfoots. There are aliens. The government is doing everything you think it is and more. Now what? It's all true. Now what? Where do we go? And they go, I guess the convention is canceled. Like, what the fuck?
The Earth is flat.
Good. You win. Now what? Where do we go from here?
Huh? Not even like go prove it. Let's just assume it is. What next? Yeah, that's a good question.
Exactly. Because here's the thing, you're never going to run into a scientist who's a flat earther. So having your cousin believe in the flat earth helps nobody, but also hinders nobody. Yeah. Your cousin and all my relatives who believe in all their stupid shit and all my friends and everybody else's friends who believes in all their stupid shit have zero power. So good news. All you flat earthers get to keep your zany shit, and I love you for it. Because if you weren't there to point at it and be like, haha, hilarious. Like, what would we have?
I think a lot of it is, and I don't want to get political, but I think a lot of it is, the past 50 years of sort of defunding education and people that aren't able to do any sort of actual critical thinking.
Right. But
it's.
I have a rebuttal because I did not go to any of the best schools. I did not go to college for any significant time, nor am I accredited in anything. I'm still fine. Like, being stupid doesn't hurt you. Like, being stupid doesn't hurt me.
Well, no. But there's a difference between being educated and being intelligent. You can be a dumb person who's educated, just like you can be an uneducated person who's intelligent.
Right.
And I think if that's what you're saying about yourself, I'd say that you're in the latter category. If you're not educated, that doesn't mean you're not an intelligent guy who can think for himself.
Right. But it comes down to, I think no matter what, you're not going to get that from school. You're going to get that from home. Like you learn math and science at school. You learn how to be a human at home. So if you say, well, the education's been defunded, what happened to your parents? Like, my parents stepped up and were like, hey, let's go to the museum. Let's do this. Let's do that. It doesn't matter. Like, show me someone who was a grade A student in high school that now is so in love with their diploma, they bring it everywhere in their wallet. Like,
it's also critical thinking, right? Like, people don't. Critical thinking is not taught in schools like it should be, right? And that's a lot of what this is just people that have a lack of, I just heard something. Someone just told me something. Mm-hmm. Now let me take that thing and actually look at it and think about it and say, is this bullshit? Right? That's what's missing.
Right. But the bad news is, and the good news is, the bad news and the good news is the same thing, is it'll always be there. There's no way you're ever going to get people who were born dim or with their light turned off or with their consciousness very narrow or their situational awareness gone. Like, they're never going to not be there. But they need to fill those roles in society. You know what I mean? We need to have those people who are dead behind the eyes, who are the worker bees, who are just like like everybody I work with, not everybody, a lot of the people I work with are those type of people. They go through life and they go, they sit in their little position and they go, I believe what I believe and it's so fun. And I like to go on Facebook and like a bunch of stuff that I already like. And, you build yourself a little insulated cocoon.
Didn't you say you work with someone that doesn't even know how to silence their own phone?
Yeah, isn't that insane?
Yes.
But yeah.
You would think that at some point you would just accidentally silence your own phone.
Right. And at this point I have to believe it's intentional. But everybody's common sense isn't everybody else's.
Oh, yeah, that's
So-
true. I
'cause-
mean, some people are technically challenged, I guess.
Yeah, because how do you say? I mean, like living day to day. How do you say? Who do you point to and say, okay, when you're interacting with the public, here's how we do it. I think it's just funnier to check out of them emotionally and like watch them. Because if you can sit back and watch these people who are so out of it, it's almost like watching bees or bugs or ants like do their little dance. Like it's like going like if you go to the airport and you watch people moving around and doing all these little buzzing around and doing like carrying things and doing like talking about stuff that doesn't matter because it's all part of the song and dance that we go through, the game of life. And it's so strange to watch them. There's like bzzz, all their just moving one place to another. And then you see the people who are like checked in and they're just sitting there contemplatively watching everybody else going like, this is all very weird. Because
I get to go to the airport in less than a month for the first time since in over a year.
Enjoy it. Because there's going to be people, all the colors of the bow, man, like they like to say.
It'll be interesting. I mean, it'll be interesting to see if anything's really changed or not. Is in regards to travel. Obviously, you're probably gonna have to wear a mask on the airplane, stuff like that. But
Probably.
yeah,
But
yeah, it'll be interesting. The thing is, also prices are right back up where they were. Like we booked a trip to Hawaii that got canceled. You know, pre-COVID, we had a trip to Hawaii, or I think we booked it like it must have been like March of 2020, like when COVID was just starting, but no one really knew. Like everyone's like, you'll just stay inside for 2 weeks and it'll be fine.
yeah.
We booked a trip to Hawaii and it was like, I think $1,200 for the four of us round trip. You know, so like that was, of course, it got canceled, but whatever. That you're not getting away with it that cheap anymore. Now they got to make up for all the money they lost.
Yeah, and that's why I not for nothing, but like the airlines have become so heavily regulated. It's like not even worth it anymore for me. For people like me, I would rather drive across this country and take like.
That's what I've been saying.
Right, but before it was a matter of like, whatever. You're getting less of a hassle for your dollar, so we'll fly. But now it's like you have to have a certain card, and they have to stick a finger up your ass, and they scan you with that thing that shows everybody your dick behind the thing, even though they say it doesn't. It totally fucking does. And like, why go and be repeatedly violated, like, and pay for the privilege?
Well, it's convenience. It's the trade-off of convenience. And I know what you're saying, because like I said, when we went to visit my dad in February, we drove. We drove from Oregon. It was Oregon to Reno, Reno to Vegas, Vegas to Prescott. And that was a 3-day trip there and back. And I'll gotta tell you, by the way, speaking of which, there's a whole lot of nothing between like Reno and Vegas and between Vegas and Prescott.
We drove from here to Reno for Andy's wedding, and there's
very much nothing.
Nothing. And it was the middle of the night when we drove it, and so there was nothing and darkness.
But that's the great thing about like all like living on this side of the US. You get everything that everybody else wants, because everybody on the East Coast has tiny little states and they're all cramped and crowded. No one can park. And here you can drive for 9 hours, not leave the state, and park anywhere you fucking want. And I'm glad of it.
It's true.
Yeah.
It takes.
There's a lot of nothing though. I'll tell you.
Yeah, there's a lot.
But I'm happy for it, because I would rather have a lot of nothing to go and stretch my legs in than to be able to fit most of Europe. You know, and all of these, like, Texas is the size of 9 Germanys or whatever they say. Like, great. I would rather live in a state that is as big as humanly possible when it's zany shape than be all cramped. I'm a tall guy.
Well, but you live in a big city, right? I mean, you guys are like, are you kind of in the metropolis? Are you in a suburb? Where are you guys?
We're in the suburbs, and we're moving even further from the suburbs, out in the middle of nowhere.
Are you getting like a ranch or something?
Yeah, head of cattle, a couple of chickens, a dog. Well, we already got a dog. No, we're just
chickens sound like a real pain in the ass.
They are. I've had chickens.
Yeah.
We may get some when we can't. The HOA won't allow it. But yeah, we're
Wait, you're moving to a ranch that has an HOA?
No, it's not a ranch. It's just
a community.
It's a community, but it's in the middle of, quote unquote nowhere. Like, I would consider most people Let's consider where we live now in the middle of nowhere. But I'm going even more nowhere. Which
interesting.
But
we lived in the middle of nowhere for 7 years, and we just moved to somewhere that's not in the middle of nowhere. So it's a nice change of pace.
Yeah, they have each have their charms. But like my biggest fear as a child, if we ever moved to the middle of nowhere, I would be like, okay, number one, I'm not going to know the TV channels. Ha 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 ha. Number two, I'm not going to know where any of the stores are. Like Amazon, I don't even need to know where stores are anymore. Like, what's a store? Ha 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 ha. Like, living in the middle of nowhere is now easier than ever because
really is.
The cable is out there. The internet is out there. Amazon can make it there. And not only that, like we're expanding so fast, there are stores out there already. So it's not like it's even the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Stake your claim too, man, because this global warming thing keeps happening and the whole coasts are going to move inland.
It'll correct itself. There's no way that humans would be stupid enough to watch as each one of them bursts into flames. Like, as evil and corrupt as people are, we still want to live to be evil another day. Like, Mitch McConnell wants that money to not burn up as he also burns up, so he'll probably get his wrinkly ass in gear if the shit hit the fan.
I think you are very much overestimating his capacity for...
Perhaps, but he's also been alive for centuries, so I can't say that he's ever felt the sting of mortality or even had to entertain the idea. He's like a fucking, he's like, what was that guy to live forever? Strom Thurmond?
Yeah. Is he dead now?
Probably. I mean, Mitch McConnell, he's in his first mentioning was in a papyrus they found in 4000 BC. He was
he's very well featured in the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Yeah, he was like Cleopatra's spit bucket boy.
Nice.
Went on to,
what is the role of a spit bucket boy? Is it just someone carrying a bucket that she's spitting into?
Yeah, imagine him as a little tiny turtle, Mitch McConnell, with his little, it'd probably be bronze or brass, and he'd have a little, like there'd be an ankh on it, and like a scarab, and he'd sit there with his little, I don't know why, but they always wore those Mo wigs in ancient Egypt, with his little curly Q eye makeup, and he'd go, madam, and she'd go,
Ugh.
Ding.
Mm-hmm. They loved spittoons in ancient Egypt. That's where they came from. The West stole them from the Egyptians.
Yep.
Oh, man. David, I'm running out of stuff to talk to you about.
Hey, good news. We're out of time. It's
all right, good.
It's been enough. I think I've taken up enough of your time. So why don't we start wrapping it up? And you know how we do it, Schwood, with staff recommendations. Do you want to recommend anything to our audience, be it whatever you want? I don't care.
Do I want to recommend anything? Let me think for 1 second. Is there anything good that I've seen lately? I don't really think so. I think I'll tell you what I'll recommend. It's actually an old recommendation, but I really enjoyed the Amazon Prime series, The Expanse.
Okay.
That's a really good series. If you like science fiction, if you like, sort of... It's almost like Game of Thrones in space. There's a lot going on, many different subplots and all that, and the books are quite good as well.
Have you seen Altered Carbon?
So I saw the first season of Altered Carbon, and I enjoyed it. I started watching the second season, but here's the problem with the second season of Altered Carbon.
It's not good.
Every shot is so dark, you can't see what's going on. Like the whole thing is shot in a shadow. And so, like, I'm usually watching, the only time I get to watch shows is typically at nighttime. And so, like, when I'm already in bed and then I'm watching a show where, like, it's just a whole bunch of shades of dark gray, it's really difficult to, like, keep my interest.
Is that the only thing you didn't like about the second season? Because I could talk about the second season. Like, the first season I loved. The second season lost the through line. The characters changed.
It didn't grab me like the first. I didn't like it as much. I don't think I even made it all the way through.
I made it through simply because I read all 3 of the books, and I've, dedicated myself to enjoying as much as I can anything that comes out on Netflix. But the first one was awesome.
Oh yeah, we've watched it more than once.
I can't stop talking about it.
I enjoyed the first one. it's funny because there's just a bunch of stuff that I've seen that I didn't like, so I don't even want to mention it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to. How about this?
Sure.
There's a new Jason Statham movie out right now that I quite enjoy, a good campy action Jason Statham movie.
What is that one called? I saw the
It's
commercials.
called Wrath of Man.
Okay, yeah.
And I can tell you the plot here. It's basically the plot of every other movie in the world. It says a cold and mysterious new security guard for a Los Angeles cash truck company surprises his coworkers when he unleashes precision skills during a heist. The crew is left wondering who he is and where he came from.
Yeah, never seen that before with Jason Statham.
It's basically Taken again,
or the Transporter,
right? Where I think his kid or his wife or someone gets killed, and now he's on a revenge path trying to figure out who did it.
That's you said Statham, not Neeson, right?
No, it's not Neeson. It's Statham, and I just watched that new Liam Neeson movie. It was not good.
Everybody overstays their welcome. You know what I mean? Liam Neeson came and did Taken. Everybody's like, "Oh my god!" Then there was Taken 2, Taken 3. Then he's fighting wolves, and everybody's like, "Okay, we don't just because they got a bear to dance doesn't mean they want to come back and see the bear dance all the fucking time." Like Liam Neeson did a couple of good things, but when you see the same thing and he's just another guy talking quietly with a bunch of jump cuts as he's kicking ass. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, look at it from Liam Neeson's point of view. What does he give a shit? They're paying him to keep doing that.
Right.
Stuff.
I'm not holding it against him. I'm holding it against the people who keep going back and being like, "Oh, they did it again."
I just don't see what you have against Liam Neeson. Is what I'm saying.
I've got nothing against him personally. I think he was great in High Spirits.
High Spirits? What's that?
Watch that movie. You'll thank me in the morning.
I watched the terrible tragedy of a movie, Without Remorse. Tom Clancy's Without Remorse. I think it was on Netflix or something. It's because I when I was younger, I used to love Tom Clancy books.
It's hard.
And Without Remorse was hands down my favorite Tom Clancy book. It's a very good book. And they just slaughtered this movie. Oh, I was so disappointed.
The amount of material that Tom Clancy continues to pump out from his casket is incredible. It's incredible.
I know, isn't it? Well, even later in life, before he was dead, he was putting out book after book after book. They weren't written by him, but it just had his name on it.
I hope to be that prolific after I'm dead. But R.L. Stine's the same way. Like, how many Goosebump books are there, and how many did he write? Who's to say? Anyway, Schwood, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's a blast as always.
Yeah. Well, like I said, next time we got to get Suds on here because he's if Suds is on here, you and I can just relax because he'll just talk the whole time.
Yeah, that'll be fine. We just need to watch. Maybe I'll just have him watch a movie and tell me about it, and I'll put my surfer shades on and take a nice little sleep.
Exactly.
Anyway, guys, also in the typing square, thanks for showing up and all that good stuff. Check out Schwood's channel, Crosstalk Solutions. I would have put a link in the show notes if I didn't wait until literally 7:28 to put this thing together.
Or don't. It's fine.
Or whatever. Schwood's. I go to certain channels for the personality of the host, not necessarily the content of the thing. Because I watch you and I don't get. Here's one thing. I full disclosure. I did use you once. Your video that was the walkthrough of how to make the Raspberry Pi boot to the hard disk. I even bought the little M drive that you recommended.
Oh, okay, cool.
So
that Raspberry Pi video, I think my most popular video on YouTube is like basically how to set up a Raspberry Pi 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was one of my favorites. I like that one.
And this is astounding to me because it's got, let's see, December 30th, 2019, 1.2 million views on that video.
Wow.
5 or 6 of them are me.
Well, it's just funny because that constantly that video is still number one week after week after week, even almost 3 years later.
But that makes sense because it's like Raspberry Pis are incredibly popular. I had to watch it 4 or 5 times to make sure I was getting everything right. And you do it in such a way that it makes sense. And also I think the edit where you do it wrong at the first part and have to go back and edit.
Yes, that was in the. You know what's funny about that is that If I were a true professional, I would have just re-recorded the video. But at that point, I was just like, fuck it.
Yeah, that might be my favorite part. I watched it an extra couple of times for that alone.
It's hilarious.
So, guys, once again, thanks everybody for coming on the show and watching and listening and typing. It's been fun. Schwood, thanks again.
Sure.
Everybody, we will see you next time on another live show and et cetera, et cetera. Have a good night.
Bye.